Welcome back guys, you are watching Rising Code Zira, and in this video we are going to learn about insertion sort, the Java code for the insertion sort. So we are going to write the insertion sort Java code, and let's get started guys. Inside notes I have given an example for 529156 this array, so we are just going to write the code for this array. So what we are going to do, we will just write it 529156. okay, say first of all that how it will work for this array. Okay, so if you see this array is there, we will just copy it. So what will happen, we just start from index number 1, we will compare with the previous number, and what will happen over here when we will just move at this point, the 5 will be shifting, basically 2 will be present inside key and the 5 will be shifting one place because 5 is greater than 2. Okay, 5 is greater than 2, then it will look like this. Then we will move one place next, that will be 9. So we will compare with previous number, is 5 greater than 9? No. Then we will move again front, that means one step ahead, and we will see, is 9 greater than 1? 9 is greater than 1. So basically 1 will be inside the key variable and 9 will be at this point, 5 will be at this point. We will just check with 5 as well. We can place the one number here, but we will see the previous number is 5, which is greater than 1. So we will just shift 5 at this point. Then we will check for here. Okay, the 2 is also greater than 1 again. So we will just shift 2 at this point. And then we will just compare with the previous number. Basically at this point, okay, there will be -1 index. And when it will be -1 index, we will just place it at this point. That means +1. Okay, is 9 greater than 5? Yes. So we will just shift it at this point. And here there will be 9. And at this point, we will just place the 5 because the previous number is equal to it. 6 is also okay, 9 is greater than 6, so we will just place 9 at this point, and we will just place 6 over here because the previous number is smaller than 6. So in this way it will happen in such a sort. First of all, what we are going to do, we are just going to create an array, integer array is equal to, and I'm just going to copy this and we are just going to paste it. So this will be an array guys, and we are just going to move ahead and we will just print the array. For this, what we will do, we need a function to print this array. So we will just create a function, or we will just create a method basically. So public static void, and we will give it name as print and then array, integer of array, okay, integer of arr. And inside this, what we are going to do, we are just going to use an enhanced for loop, or you can say for each loop. So for num, and we will just write arr, and inside this we are just going to say that system dot out dot print, and inside this we will write num plus, and here we will just create a space. Okay, and then what we do all the time, we just write here system dot out dot println over here, system dot out dot println will be placed over here. Okay, now we just have to call the method. So at this point we are just going to write print array, and we need to give it to be arr. Okay, now let's run the code and see whether the array is printed or not. Now here there is an error. Basically we have to declare, so this will be integer basically. So at this point we have just completed and we got the array, that is 529156. we got the array. Now it's time to sort the array. So before this, I'm just going to write here array before sorting and array after sorting, so that it will become more understandable. So system.out.println, and we will say array before sorting. Okay, and then we will say in the next line, okay, we will just write array after sorting. So let's copy this and let's paste it, array after sorting, and before sorting. Now when we will just run, you will get the array before sorting, that is going to be 529156, and you will get array after sorting. We will just create a method for this right now. Okay, now we will just pass integer of arr over here, and inside this, what we are going to do, we are going to write the main code for this. What we do, consider the first element of the array as the sorted part. Here we need the first length. So what we write, we will write here integer length is equal to arr dot length, and inside this length, 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 and inside this length the value here will be, okay, 3 and 6 numbers we are having, so it will be 6 over here. Then we will move to the next line, and here basically what we are going to do, we are just going to use a for loop, because we know that we are going to start from index number 1 and we need to reach up to index number, the last index basically of the array. If the array is of 7, numbers, then it should move up to the 7 numbers. So what we will do, we will use here for loop. For integer, so we are going to start from index number 1, because the 0 index we are going to say that it is going to be j, the previous value is going to be j. So we will say I is equal to 1 and we need to move up to less than length. Okay, why we need to move up to less than length? So you can just see over here, I will just make one thing, and that is going to be, we are just going to index the number so that it will be more easy to understand. Okay, so this will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, now you can just see we have just created an index, we have just given an index for the numbers, and if we see here, this will be 6, so it should move up to 5. Okay, 5 number, because our indexing is 0 base. Okay, so it starts from 0 index, so it should move up to 5. So we will say I should be less than length, and the increment we will just do I plus plus. So we just give the starting point, the ending point, and we just increment it. So this is as simple as that, and we are just going to do one more thing here, and that is going to be the key variable basically, which will be the array of what? Array of I. It will be array of I basically. When we will just move, this will be the key value, then this will be the key value, this will be the key value. In this way it will work. Now next thing we need to do, and that is going to be the j value. So j is also important as compared to key, because we are just going to compare with j all the time, and j is going to be I minus 1, the previous position, because we are going to compare with the previous position all the time. Now as this process, as these variables we have just declared, we need two conditions. We are having basically two conditions, and when we talk we are having two conditions, we will use a while loop over here. We will use here while loop. Why we need two conditions? The first condition is we are just going to do the shifting, and the another condition is that array should not go to -1 condition. Okay, so here we will write while loop, and inside while loop what we will do, we are just going to compare array of j is going to be greater than key. Okay, if it is going to be greater than key, then we are having one condition, that we are just going to shift the number. Okay, we will say that array of j plus 1, we will say array of j plus 1 is equal to array of j, is equal to array of j. That means what will happen, array of j plus 1 is going to be array of j. That means the next position we are just going to place over there. Okay, we have just explained all the things inside the previous video. Here we are just going to say that array of j plus 1 is equal to array of j, and after that we are just going to j also, we are just going to decrement j minus minus, because we need to move at the previous condition. Okay, you can just see the first step, key was 2. Okay, key was 2 over here, and j was 7. 7 was greater than 2. Okay, so when 7 was greater than 2, we have just shifted. Basically when 2 is placed in key, the box is going to be empty, and we are going to shift the j value at the next place where 2 was located, and then we will compare again 2 with the previous value. So we will do j minus minus here. Okay, so in this way we are just going to do. If the array of j is not greater than key, that means it is small, then we don't need to do. So we will say array of j plus 1 is equal to key. One condition is very important here, and that is remaining, that we will say j is going to be greater than equal to 0, and okay, sorry, is going to write j is going to be greater than equal to 0. It should be greater than equal to 0. It can go to -1. Okay, when key value is going to come at this point, okay, then the j will be at this point, it will be the previous number. Okay, so it will be -1. So we don't want to do go outside the array. We don't want to go outside the array. So what we will say, array of j plus 1 is equal to key. So we will just move at this point. By default we need to place it over here. So that is the condition. So we write array of so we write j should be greater than equal to 0, and array of j should be greater than key. If these both conditions are true, then only the condition will execute which is present inside this. Otherwise this condition will work. Okay, so this is all about this. And to print the array, we are just going to write here print array, the method which we have just created, guys. And inside this we are just going to pass the argument as well, arr, and let's run the code whether it works fine or not. Okay, now it will not work again, we just have to call the method again. So here we will call the method, and that is going to be insertion sort, and inside this also we are just going to pass this irr, and let's run the code now. I think it should give us the value, that is 1 to 5. something 569. Okay, this was the estimated output for us. So what happened over here, let's see. And okay, you can just see over here, we just compare these two values first. The 5 was greater, which is j basically, and 2 is I. So 5 was greater than 2, so what will happen, 2 will be at this place and 5 will be at this place. Then 5 was smaller than 9, nothing happened over here. 9 and 1 we will compare, so 1 is smaller than the previous value, it will come at this point. Then in this way it will come at this point, and 1 to 5 9 you will get. Then we will just see 1 to 5 9 you get, and then we will move at the 5. Is the previous value 9 greater than 5? Yes. So we will just shift it and you will get 5 and 9 in this. Then we will come at the last point while iterating, and we will find that the previous value is also greater. Then we will just shift it, and finally we will get this sorted array. Now if you give here negative numbers inside this array, then also it will work, guys. So if you see here minus 20 we give here, okay, comma, let me give me comma, and we will give 0 as well, comma. So we just increase the size of array, and right now we will just run it. So what happening over here, okay, we just created a dot by mistake, and let's run the code, and you will get, it is also sorting, it will also get sorted.